Does speaker impedance affect the tone? Hey guys, I wanted to jump in today. I wanted to talk about this Firmware 11 public beta that Fractal put out a couple days ago. I saw the release notes on this and it didn't really jump out at me at first. And then I saw, kind of looked at it more and was like, okay, what is this speaker impedance modeling? So I'm kind of glancing over here at my screen. I wanted to read the release notes here so you can understand what I'm going to talk about and demonstrate today and why I think it's really important for me personally. It says amp block now uses new high order speaker impedance modeling. 47 speaker impedance models are included and can be selected using the speaker cabinet parameter. And you can select this speaker cabinet parameter on the advanced page in the amp block. It says selecting an amp model will load an appropriate default speaker cabinet for that model. It says existing presets are unaffected. When you find this speaker impedance, when you find this one that's selected, it'll just say null. So my question was, okay, I'm looking at this feature. Does speaker impedance, does that affect tone? Does it affect feel and how things respond? You know, short answer was yes. So I looked up, you can just look it up yourself. Does speaker impedance affect tone? So what I want to do now is I want to go to the Axe Effects and show you where you can find this parameter on the advanced page in the amp block of the Firmware 11 public beta. So let's take a look at Axe Edit right here first. On the cab, what I'm using is his AC mix. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what mics are in that. It's just one of his cab packs out of here. And I'm using a Vox AC30 top boost for the amp block. And so here's what we need to pay attention to right now. So this is a 212 Vox cabinet is what those IRs are. So from now on, when you load new cabs, it's going to load a default speaker cabinet. Now I got confused on this and I thought it was, hey, it's going to automatically pick a cabinet for me, and you know, whether it be factory or whatever, but that's not it. Okay, if you have third-party IRs, which I'm using, you basically just need to see which one it's loading by default. You can change it, but you can match the default one there and just pick an IR that's close to it. So basically it's a Vox 212 AC30 cabinet. All right, so let's look on the Axe Effects screen itself. So if you look here, you can actually access the amp block here under Layout, and I've already got it over here. If it wasn't on here, you just hit navigation left and right until you get to here, and then just tap the Edit button. Once you get to Edit, you'll see these tabs up here. Okay, you'll need to go over on the page and just page over until you get to Advanced, and then from Advanced, nav down. It's kind of a ways down here, and I keep going. Almost there. We passed it. Okay. So right here, look, you'll see it says null cabinet. So that's what it's going to be like for existing presets. If you load a new amp block in here on a new preset, it's going to pick what it thinks is best. So in this case, we have a 212 Vox cabinet. So we're going to come to the 212s over here, and we're going to find a Class A 30 watt. After that, it goes into other things. So you can kind of try them and test them out here. But I just chose which one it probably selects by default. I'm also messing with some of the Worship Tutorials patches, and he is using a couple dual amp settings, and he pans one to left and one right. No problem. You just come in here, whatever speaker. If he's got two different speakers, in this case, two different cab models, you just pick those. You know, go to the amp, go to the Advanced tab, and then just select that match for it. Alright, so what I've done here is I have turned off most of the effects here. Let's start out with something, because you know these worship patches can be like way ambient and you'll get lost in it. Alright, so I've got my Sur Standard that I've been using for a while. I've got a Thornbucker in the bridge, kind of a hotter output pickup, and V60s in the single coils, which comes on the new standards, and they're like a vintage pickup, Strat pickup. So I've basically turned everything off so we can kind of get an idea what the amp sounds dry. I've got ML Sound Labs VX30 cab pack here with this AC mix. On the amp, I've got a Vox Class A 30 watt top boost. I've actually saved the settings here, which is kind of cool. I love how you can save that and copy that over to other presets. Bass kind of low, backed off, a little more treble. You know, you can adjust that to your preference. I've backed the gain off, and basically if you look, You can look on the screen, you can see it says null cabinet right now on the Axe-Fx screen. That is for existing presets. You're going to see that on new firmware 11 public beta. Here's the dry sound with just the null cabinet. Fairly clean, so I could actually bump that up a little bit. That's close. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over, I'm going to take this parameter, I'm going to set it to closely match this 212, which is a 212 AC30 cabinet. So we'll come over here to the Axe-Fx and we'll roll over the speaker cabinet perimeter. Let's find a 212. There it is, Class A30. That closely matches it. Now some amps will say Brit 412. They'll, you can look here on this Axe-Fx screen, it's changing. So if you had a matchless, you put a match, try that. That's the one by probably default for that. I haven't read on the other ones to be sure, but yeah, there's your 15 watt AC. And so we're going to put it here. So now listen, I'm going to go back and forth so you can hear the difference. Let's turn it off. It's definitely it's more dull. It doesn't have that touch feeling that I'm used to whenever I've played so many AC30s now. I haven't played a lot of them, but it just doesn't have the feel that I want, the response that I want. Now, like I said, you could take that and take that sound and say, you know what, I can get that by an EQ or something like that. But you know what? I'm pretty lazy. I want to just get in here. I want to set that resonance there, and I want it to do some sort of magic for me, and I think I like what it's done, and especially in my in-ears, it really changed the way things felt for me. Enough to where I said, last minute, I packed it up, put it in the car, and I went the next morning and I played, and it exceeded my expectations. All right, so let's go back. Okay, let's take it back. Back to null. Back to the cabinet again. Things just seem to jump out and respond. Now, you could jump up the gain a little bit. You could do some other EQ tweaks. But I don't want to think about that. I said it again and I keep repeating myself. Whatever it's doing here and what he's started doing this in speaker impedance modeling, I like it. And so once I heard this, I was like, okay, this right here, this is what I wanted. I wanted the amps to feel like this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on a few effects here and kind of let you hear the patch. Lots of delay. Here's with it on. Now that just kind of pops out to me. That feels better, it responds better when I'm digging in. delay forever. Now that's just low gain. So let's go over to my Friedman patch. We're over to my high gain patch, which is using a Friedman, the HBE. Let's make sure I got the right model here. We got Friedman, oh, we got the CE45. I changed to that because it's a little more spanky. And so yeah, moderate amount of gain. This is just the BE model. I mean, is there nope, no boost. Pretty heavy. And I'm using the ML Sound Labs Freeman cab pack. This is the Freedom Mix. Pretty cool. Alright, so BEC45. Let's go over to this Axe Effects menu and let's check out and see if you can actually just press edit until you get over to the amp block. That's sometimes easier. And there we are. So if you look, we have null cabinet here. So what I've got is, this is a 412 cabinet. I believe he's probably got a mixture of greenbacks and vintage 30s maybe. I can't, Miko will have to verify that. But let's just go over and see. I think by default, actually, when I loaded this up, it loaded up a 4x12 Brit 800 maybe? No, Brit greenback. There you go. So it loaded up that by default. So I know there's greenbacks in here, but you can just experiment and see what you like better, right? So let's try the default one and see what the difference is. All right, so again, here is before. .412 Brit greenback. I can't remember what I play again, so it's something like that, right? But you can hear there's a little bit more oomph to it. But if you think about what you feel when you're in front of a 412 cabinet, that's kind of what I feel on this. So I hope that was useful for you. I hope it maybe cleared up some things, or maybe you just read it and had zero interest in it. Either way, I encourage you to go download the public beta and mess with this this perimeter. You know, for me, honestly, for this lower gain patch, it really seemed to add that character that I was looking for, and the one that would have kind of been like a tweaking nightmare to try to find it. I wasn't finding it, and so it kind of just opens up the doors to do this to all my patches. I'm really excited about what they're doing on the team, on the Fractal team, and with each firmware update, there just seems to be some really cool things. Some things I don't notice, some things like this I really do notice. So go check it out. I'm going to close out with some doodling on my my work in progress preset.